Hello and welcome to this session on Vision and Mission or Institute and Program. I am Dr. Anand Bewoor, working as Professor, Mechanical Engineering Department and Dean Academics at Cummins College of Engineering for Women, Pune. In this session, we'll understand what exactly do you mean by vision and mission, how you actually use a process to define that. With some examples, we'll understand how to define these two major outcome type of statements in outcome-based education environment for our institute. I'll be focusing on the concepts, need, and I'll be giving some guidelines for defining these statements. We'll also try to understand how program educational objectives we can define. What do you mean by that and the process, and then how we can define with some examples. We'll study that. What exactly outcome-based education is, we have seen in earlier session. In my earlier video, I explained that in detail. You can refer that. I also have explained one outcome pyramid of OBE, where outcome definition process, I said it is to be from top to bottom, where vision and mission of the institute will be guideline base for defining all other outcomes at department level, that is program level, and course, that is subject level. Even topic level outcome also will be in line with that. And the assessment is happening from bottom to top, which will going to help you to evaluate the performances at program level and institute level. That we have seen in earlier video. We also have gone through the concept where what could be the right time frame, that instance when you can think of revising these statements right from topic level outcome to the vision of the institute. All those examples we have seen in earlier videos. In this particular video, I'm starting with the explanation for defining the guidelines for defining vision statement. What is vision? Actually, vision is a pathway for any organization. In education, it is the pathway for any institute or college. Vision without any action, it's merely a dream that we understand, and for which we define some action elements. We call them as mission statement. So let us understand first vision. Vision is actually a picture of a future you can see to create, describe a present. Create means you can develop resources, you can develop all the stakeholders to work for, internal as well as external stakeholders to work for, and that is one of the way you can define the term vision. It shows where, as an institute or a college, want to go in near or longer term future, and what actually is required, all the steps to be taken so that we could reach to that. So all these are different ways in which how we can look at to define the term vision. How to define those vision? Actually, there are some guidelines I'm just giving you here to make you understand, which will help you to define your vision. If you already defined, you can take a relook, and if it is required, you can revise your vision statements as well. These vision statements are nothing but a short phrases describing future you are ultimately working towards. This could be very simple, concrete language is used. We generally avoid buzzwords to be used to define the vision statement. It should not also be a very lengthy statement. Generally, we say 5 to 12 number of words will be more than sufficient for us to define our vision statement for the college or institute. Generally, how we define the process could be bottom-up approach. It is recommended. I also recommend that. For defining vision, it should be bottom-up. Means all stakeholders could come together, to help our management to think on, to give input to think on defining the vision statement. So they can come together, they can discuss, there will be brainstorming happening. There could be the gap analysis. Gap analysis, what other institutes are offering, what actually is lagging that should be offered to the society in general, maybe external stakeholders like recruiters or higher education institutes in particular. So all those gap analysis to be actually done, where we can make use of SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity and threats that you can think of. That SWOT analysis is actually helping you to get to the concluded for what exactly you are supposed to do, and that could be reflected into your vision statement. It could be different challenges institute may think of for future that could also be a part of vision statement. Some people may think in that direction as well. So what you're supposed to do, what deliberation points should be there during the meetings. It could be intermediate and long-term goals, and those deliberations could conclude in terms of those vision statements. On the basis of that, you can define the vision, and then strategic plan can be defined. As I'm saying, mission statements to be defined and then strategic plan for any institute or college to be defined, you can understand the importance of writing each and every word in the vision statement, which is very, very important. I'm just taking one example so that our discussion will be more comfortable for understanding. I'm taking one example here. There are a few examples I'm taking from India. Let us refer to the premium institutions like IITs, IIT Bombay. What they actually wanted to be. They wanted to be a leading global technology university that provides a transformative education to create leaders, innovators, and generates new knowledge for society and industry. I'm just taking one example of their statements. They are working and then they are revising. But I'm just taking one example for our discussion here to understand the vision statement. If you look at the major component of that statement is focusing on to creating something. Creation, as far as cognitive level is concerned, it's very highest level. So what they want to create, being a big institution, a premium institution in the country like India, they want to create leaders, they want to create innovators, even they want to generate knowledge for society and knowledge for industry. So their focus is very, very clear what exactly they want to work for, and it is a long term. Let us take another example for IIT Delhi. To contribute to India, to start with this, and the world through excellence in scientific and technical education and research, to serve as a valuable resource for industry, society, and remain a source of pride for all Indians. So let us look at what all things they have mentioned. They want to first contribute to India. Number one, how they want to contribute through scientific and technical education. That is what explicitly mentioned. They also want to contribute by doing research. So all these are different components of an institution they want to work on. So the resources, faculties, all infrastructure, all the processes, everything will get aligned to the education in science and technology. It is also get aligned to the research in science and technology. So ultimately they want to serve by adding value as a resource to the industry as well as to society in general. So the concept is very clear, which is depicted through all these vision statements. I'm just referring to a few other universities abroad. Carnegie Mellon University, I'm just referring. For example, again, what they want to do, they will have a transformative impact on society through continual innovation. So innovation is the major procedural part they want to focus upon. So innovation in education, innovation, research, creativity, and entrepreneurship. So these are very, very clear goals that they are giving to their programs. Ohio University, if you'll see, will be the nation's best transformative learning community. So they want to develop themselves as a community where students can realize their promises, faculty advance their knowledge, staff will achieve some excellence, and alumni becomes global leaders. So automatically all those viewpoints, what we say, maybe after 5 years, 10 years down the line, what institute want, their institution can be recognized as, their alumni will be recognized as, is very clearly defined in these vision statements. In the version of Newcastle is one another university, as a civic university with a global reputation for academic excellence. So this is very clear. They are only focusing on academic excellence, could be more than sufficient. So likewise, the content to be mentioned as a part of vision statement will give a guideline to all stakeholders, internal and external stakeholders. So vision statement is communicating to all stakeholders. Now this becomes a reference for what? For preparing the action plan. Now, how to write action plan? Those action plans you are writing in very, very abstract form. Those are, we all know we refer it as mission statements. We refer it as mission statements. Those sentences actually describing the reason why our organization program exists and what you do, how you will going to do it, and what you will going to do it for. So these are basic questions can be answered through these mission statements. So mission statement could be treated as a vehicle to reach to goal. In very simple way, if you are planning a journey, we are planning to reach to a particular destination, we also plan how we are going to travel. So this mission statement will be a kind of a path and a vehicle to reach to the goal. So organization's mission statement should be clearly communicated so that all related stakeholders will participate effectively, and the effectiveness will get compounded year by year, semester by semester, year by year. So some statements add inspiring, many adjectives, many verbs they use, but we should be very, very clear in our concept how we're going to communicate through these mission statements what we want to achieve, which we have stated already in vision statement as an institute vision. So the mission statement, we expect it should be very clear, concise, and it should be useful for all stakeholders to understand. When I'm saying clear, concise, and useful, for clear, it should be easy to understand when I'm using term clear. So it is not a time to slow off your vocabulary. No. The concrete language that keeps simple. So any person working in your college or institute or university can easily understand it. It should be concise. This is also equally applicable for mission statement, which I'm talking about, clear, concise, and useful. It is also applicable for vision statements as well. Either it is for institute level or it could be for department level. We'll come to that with some examples. Concise, when I say, it should be short and to the point. So don't fall prey to buzzwords and unnecessary adjective strings. So it should not be unnecessary lengthy statements. Again, I just given guideline. Your vision statement should be a 5 to 12 kind of a words. Here also the somewhat same guideline. Maybe 1 or 2 more words you can add. 5 to maybe 12, 14 words will help you to define your mission statement. When I'm coming to the next third point, that is useful, when I'm using this term, inform, focus, and guide. It doesn't matter how short, clear, or cute your phrase is. It fails to inform others, then it is not useful. It should be useful so that it will guide internal and external stakeholders for taking appropriate decisions. That is very, very important. So as I just mentioned, mission statement should be treated as a vehicle towards a vision. Mission statements are actionable kind of a statements which could guide internal external stakeholders to reach to their destinations, to their visions. So when I'm saying to whom to communicate, the communication is to, as far as external is concerned, to inform them what we are doing in our university, in our institute, in our department or program. So for external. For internal, like faculty and staff, it could be motivating kind of a thing. It could be helping them to focus upon. So these vision and mission statements could help internal stakeholders to focus and to get motivated for. That is what the expectation thing. And as far as at leadership level, these statements could help them to get guidance for strategic planning and decisions. So either it is at department level, maybe institute or college level, this leadership position person can get guidance when he or she reads vision and mission statements and take the decision. I'm just taking few examples, which are very good examples for describing the mission statement. Let us take TED. They use only 2 words, spreading ideas, which is giving very clear-cut understanding what they will going to do. As far as the human society is one society, and their mission statement is very clear. Celebrating animals and confronting the cruelty. So it is very clear what they actually want to do, what should be their action, what should be the decisions. Likewise, Wounded Warrior Project is one another example I'm just taking, where the mission statement is very clear: to honor and empower wounded warriors. So that is very clearly explained, where they have used only 6 words to explain. The Best Friend Animal Society. This is one another society I'm referring, where they use 7 words to explain what actually how they will going to work to reach to their vision. So this is the mission statement I'm referring. A better world through kindness to animal. I'm coming to a few more, like public broadcasting system, where they used 8 words to define their mission statement, to create content that educates, informs and inspires. So only these 8 words will be helping every either internal or external stakeholder to understand what they are going to do. I'm referring to National Wildlife Federation. They use 9 words to explain the mission statement. Inspiring Americans to protect wildlife for our children's future. It is very clear. All these are I'm referring as an examples. So anyone listening or watching this can understand how to define mission statement. Oxfam is one another last example I'm considering, where they use 10 words to create lasting solutions to poverty, hunger and social injustice. So it is very clear what actually and how they will going to execute their vision. Now coming to some of the universities, Cornell is one university. As we are talking about education field, the statements are different than what we have seen in earlier part of discussion. Learning, discovery, engagement. Only 3 words they are used. Cornell is one university. They have used only 3 words as mission statements: learning, discovery, engagement. That's all. University of Cambridge has used statement as, this is an example. A mission of the University of Cambridge is to contribute to society through a pursuit of education, learning, and research at the highest international level of excellence. The University of Hudson, I'm just referring an example. You can see, you can read it. One other mission statement by MIT is to advance knowledge and educate students in science, technology, and other areas of scholarship that will best serve the nation and the world in the 21st century. So this is one another example I referred. Now you can refer to the mission statement of IIT Bombay. All these examples I'm just referring here for study purpose. There is no other meaning I'm trying to, or any other way of explanation that I'm offering here. But here I'm just referring to these statements so that we can clearly understand, as an external stakeholder, part of society, if I want to look at what IIT Bombay is wanted to offer, these mission statements, how they are going to do that. These statements are helping us to understand, like they want to create ambience, they want to address the problem, they want to provide the education, they want to collaborate with other academic institutions, research institutions, they want to generate knowledge, they want to develop the ecosystem, they want to identify based on informed perception of Indian, they want to undertake collaborative projects. So looking at all these mission statements, we can clearly understand what and how they will going to achieve. So there's few other examples we can take from maybe some government institutions, some universities, and we can educate ourselves. I'm taking one example here. This is the vision of a college, Cummins College of Engineering for Women, and the institute vision is very clear: to be a globally renowned institute for imparting quality education and to develop women leaders in engineering and technology. So it is very clear what Cummins College want to work for and how they will going to work for. The Cummins College will work with 3-4 mission statements. Anyone can go and refer to the website and understand. I'm just referring one example: to develop women professionals who are academically and technically competent and strong professional ethics. Likewise, you can pause here and you can just check at your institute's vision and mission statement, your context, whether it is different than others. Your mission, vision statements are adding value to the dream that your institute is looking for. You can have different strengths you can play upon. You can think on that. Your challenges could be unique, and you are the best placed, maybe institute or college locally, for offering solutions. So you need to think on these aspects when you are in the process of defining vision and mission statements. So I strongly recommend here, you can revisit to your institute and department or program vision and mission statements and comment for any corrections required. You can have deliberations among your internal stakeholders, maybe external stakeholders, to work on reframing of your, right? Here we are slowly moving from vision, mission at institute and department level statements, how to define. We have seen some of the examples at universities and then institutes, and then maybe program level. You can also refer to such institutes. We'll be slowly moving towards understanding of program educational objectives. Another important type of statements which will form a reference for any program of any institute, why that institute program should be there, should be in existence. That is explained by this program educational objectives. These statements actually describes the expected achievements of the graduates within first few years of their graduation. So maybe 4 years program through which students are admitted, and then they are completing 4 years and entering into the industry or maybe higher education or become an entrepreneur. Maybe after, immediate after graduation, what we expect our students should be. So those are objectives we can keep in our mind, and then we can start defining our program educational objectives. First few years, earlier days, we can say maybe first 5 years after graduation. Now that time frame is now reduced from 5 years to 3 years. So maybe immediately after 3 years of graduation, what students will be in the role of, that you should think, and that could be helping you to get your program educational objective statements written. Who will going to help you here? Majorly your recruiters, your alumni will going to definitely help for defining this. Of course, you being a faculty, you being a leader at program and institute or college level, you can also give your remark input for that, but your alumni will be giving a true or ground zero level input, and they can help you to define this in far better way. So PEO may be guided by global or local needs also. Here, if you are defining your program level objectives, institute level vision, mission statement, program level vision and mission statement definitely is giving input for defining this. So I'm considering inputs from different entities in outcome-based education. One, institute level vision mission, department level vision mission is giving input. Second, your alumni are giving input. Third, recruiters are giving input. Fourth, your current students, maybe your current faculty, leadership position will also be helping you to define this. So we need to collaborate with our stakeholders and could define these PEOs. So the process related to defining PEO, when I'm talking, I'm saying we need to understand inputs from the stakeholders' feedback, institute and department vision mission statements, maybe mid corrections may be happening during periodic process of PEO refinement is happening. So the output could be the process by which the curriculum and the resources can be created. This could be a reference for defining curriculum, defining the resources that we need to build at our program or at institute level. So review for quality improvement could be one instance where we can think on revising this, not only PEO but also maybe department vision and mission statement. The time frame at which we need to think on this, we can keep this instance for revising, reframing that I already explained in earlier videos. So review, mid correction, continuous quality improvement program, these all nothing but revising your outcome statements. Automatically the resources and processes will fall into their place. Generally, what problems, what wrong things are happening, many times I observe it when I visit to different institutions for training purposes, for audit purposes. What I've seen is these PEO statements are wrongly defined. Some of the bits of program outcome statements are considered as a part of these PEO statements. Outcomes and objectives are two different things. What we need to understand? We need to understand what students will going to do immediately after their graduation, when they will start working with industry or started learning some higher education. So we need to understand their requirements, their abilities, what they will going to develop, use. We need to consider that as a part of PEO statements. So graduates will be able to communicate effectively, adopt lifelong learning, act in integrity, have interpersonal skills, some of the attitude and behavioral aspect things that can be part of. Graduate will going to demonstrate a measurable progress in the field. They're very general statements generally I have seen. The graduates will be employable in the diversified sector of industry, government, public sector, multinational corporations and kind of thing. So these are very heavy statements they write as a PEO statements. So we need to think on this. We need to revisit these statements, try to understand how we can effectively modify. So I'm saying what your immediate alumni is doing, let us look at their roles, their positions in the organizations, put them as a part of your PEO statements. So it could be excel in higher studies, that you can add one component. Success in industry, technical professional, it could be to solving some real life engineering problems, that you can say. But your program flavor should be there in your PEO statement. How your graduate will going to work. The graduate will create something. So maybe design product, maybe work on improvements in the processes working on, will carry out research, will going to work on some multidisciplinary projects. So likewise, the components of statements should be there into your PEO statements. So department vision and mission statements, then institute level vision mission statements, feedbacks from these stakeholders will be important inputs for PEOs. And if you refer, I'm taking reference of criteria number 1 of National Board of Accreditation SAR report. What they expect you need to establish a process, you need to document whatever the deliberations happening in the process through minutes of meetings, and all these things for defining your program education objectives. And they also expect you to map what all components of mission statements that you can identify, that you already written in mission statements, how those can be mapped. Their mapping levels, they are said 1, 2, 3. 1 could be low level mapping, 2 could be moderate level, 3 could be substantial or high level of mapping. So you can see that mapping you need to think on, you need to prepare at your program, and that matrix they actually expect. When they expect, actually they expect that you should do all these activities, this study, groundwork, so that your system will be in place, and then you can assure to your stakeholders what exactly the objective that you are thinking in your mind and you are implementing. So I'm again recommending here at this point, you can revisit to your program educational objectives that you have written for your program and write any comment, any changes you require, any guidelines you need for corrections to happen at your end. So in this particular session, I'm trying to explain one more point associated with this vision, mission and PEO, that how you disseminate, which is also very important part of a process in OB, how you disseminate that. So I'm just taking an example. You can disseminate by putting all the statements on websites where employers, alumni, parents, students, all they are coming, and then they are visiting to your institute, college websites. So at department level and maybe institute level, you can keep it. During different meetings that are happening, maybe meetings with alumni, maybe meetings with their parents, meeting with recruiters, there also you can display. So disseminations of all these statements is kind of an exhibition of what you think in vision and how you're going to do that you exhibited through mission statements, and what all your PEOs, program level objectives for your students in your program, that you are communicating, disseminating. One another way, generally all the institutes publish their booklets, maybe in soft and hard copies, so you can incorporate that. So these can be ways. Even physically, when all the stakeholders visit to your program, that is department, to your college, you can also put the standees, you can put the displays at appropriate locations. Whenever the faculty members are sending, the maybe inter-stakeholders are sending their mails, these statements could be a part of their email signature also. Generally, that is also preferred as one of the way to dissemination. As I just mentioned, and the reference of NBA SAR, National Board of Accreditation Self-Assessment Report criteria, for your reference, where you can get those inputs, right? So I'm just still more talking about how the process is happening. Rather, process should happen, right? So the process flowcharts could be in such a way you can set. Maybe at the top there could be existing syllabus. It could be summarized surveys, feedbacks that you have collected from your stakeholders. Those are inputs. All those you're collecting. Then you're trying to improve upon. Means exactly it could be the processes of deliberations which are happening in the meeting at different committees. Maybe at department level, as I mentioned, NBA recommends the term called as Department Advisory Board. At program level, it could be Program Evaluation and Quality Implementation Committee. So PEQIC is abbreviated for this. In the program, faculty members can come together. This PEQIC meeting can work on defining this or preparing the inputs for defining vision and mission statements and PO statements at program level. These can be further presented in some of the institutes. It is also presented in their board of studies, and then it will be taken further in higher committees like academic councils. It could be further taken for any suggestions from governing body or body of governance, whatever different levels of committees you consider. And then management can give their inputs there in these committees. Again, revisions happens. Again, those inputs goes back to the program. Work on it, incorporates their views. And likewise, the process is happening. And at one point of time, everybody agrees upon some statements for their mission and vision and program level objectives, and you use this as a point of communications to statements of communications to your stakeholders. So in this session, if we'll take a simple recap, what we have discussed about what do you mean by vision, what do you mean by mission statement, what all processes you need to follow for defining these two. And we also have considered different examples for this. Later, we have understood the need of program educational objectives, abbreviated as PEOs, how to define these PEOs, what is the process. We have seen some of the examples of PEOs, and we also have seen the reference from one of the accreditation document requirement, which is NBA criteria number 1, where you need to map these PEOs with mission statements. On this note, I would like to conclude this session. I'm saying we could discuss more in detail about these program level outcome statements like PEOs, their components, how to read it for defining the curriculum, how to read it for selecting teaching learning methods, pedagogies, how to assess that. We'll study in detail, we'll understand it in the next session. Thank you for watching this session.